Hello, hello. So last week, not last week, Saturday? Wait, no, we didn't stream. Okay, it was last week, yeah. We were redoing our trains or trying to decide which train design we want to do. So basically we have this option and we have this option. So I think it might be worth just kind of clearing the map and just changing this as just trains. Because I want to see like what a realistic train design will look like. If we were well, yeah, I don't think if we use trains is something I need to say anymore. I think we definitely need to use trains for getting all of the resources we need because there's a lot. We need a lot of belts. Just putting that out there. So yeah, we're gonna design them both and maybe compare. That seems like a reasonable option. There we go, and then we'll just delete all the trees. We don't need them. But this is where the base would start. So we'll probably just spawn infinite solid fuel. That part I'm not concerned with. Is there any way to clear the map update? I guess it's not a huge deal. So where should my base be? Over here. Right. Okay, so my main base would be about here. So realistically, we will have patches here and here. Oh, that complicates things a lot, doesn't it? We won't be able to use both of these patches. I guess we wouldn't be able to use both of those patches with either design. But this is basically the halfway point. So I think if we set up something on this patch and we set up something on this patch, we're off to a decent start, right? Like how many can I really fit? Also, why do I have those in my inventory? It's not like we can use them. Okay, I think this is long enough. Ideally, we should be able to get I think I want to get 5 per row, otherwise this isn't super viable, basically. Okay, I think we will be able to get 5. I wonder if I can make it adjustable. I don't know if that would be worth it. I guess if I wanted to make it adjustable, I would need a very complex design. But we'll start with this one. Density wise, we did establish that this one's about 20% worse, which isn't great. Oh wait, this spacing is off. That's why I felt like I could fit so much on there. Okay, so maybe it can be smaller. Let's see, where would the end of the patch be? I guess here? And then, oh, you know what we can do? Actually, it doesn't matter. I was gonna say we can put the fuel patch on the front or something, but it really does not make a difference. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we need to get 8. I mean, is it the end of the world if I can't get 8? Probably, actually. That kind of makes this not super viable. Bottom spacing still feels off. It might be. Yeah, it is. Thank you. I'm pretty sure this is the spacing we need. Okay, so 7 looks like it's very easy to get on pretty much any patch. 5 seems like it's not gonna happen. Let's see. What would an average patch look like? Okay, you know what? Yeah, this is pretty much all I'm going to get, I think, for any patch except for extreme ones like this. Because the thing is, we can't really be that picky about patches this early. Yeah, see these gaps are the things I don't like. The unevenness of this makes this a lot harder to work with. Although I think that's gonna be a problem regardless. It's just this won't have balanced trains if all of the drills aren't on there. Like something like this. This train will never fill up. Which means my maximum train throughput here is probably reduced by about a lot less. We'll just say a lot less. It's 5 times, yeah. So something like this would not work amazing, but I think we do need to get 5, unfortunately. I think we can get 5 on most patches, though. They're just going to be 7 long. Okay, so if they're 7 long, that is 7 times 5 times 6. That is equivalent to 210 miners, so that's actually quite bad. Because our design, that means it'll be underproducing for quite a while. I'm also just gonna paste this in a random spot so I can keep that. Because I think last time I said I wanted 240 that I increased by up to 50%. To match what I could do with just a regular drill design, right? Let's let's make sure that's actually correct. Maybe these patches are just bad. So if I wanted to do a regular drill design, we're not going to worry about any of the belts quite yet. We're just gonna place some drills lazily. This is a lot more already. Actually, no, it's not. It doesn't look near, it's not nearly as many more than I thought it would be, because this is only 203. Whereas if I were to cover this with that train setup, which I don't think we have any of. Oh crap. Oh no, which patch was it? I lost it. Why did I? I guess I can undo. Because I'm trying to compare on a specific patch, right? So I definitely need to make sure I compare the actual patch. Let's see, where's the design that we're copying? Oh, there it is. One. Okay, yeah, it is. It is that many tiles between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. No, yeah. Okay, so some patches I am able to get 8. Whereas if I were to place this here, I could realistically get. Let's see. Should I just copy? Oh, well, this isn't. This spacing isn't right. So this actually needs to go over one tile. Okay, yeah. Now it looks like a lot. It looks like a lot worse. It's a lot worse now that I have it placed, I think. Now there is a pattern that saves undergrounds. I'm not that concerned with it right now. Oops. We're just gonna assume that's not gonna happen, I guess. And then this tessellate's at a really weird angle. That tracks. Okay, and then okay, how many is this? This is 164. Okay, and then with them all being even, I was able to get, what was it? 170? 203. Okay, so it is about 25% worse. Because if I had a design like this, I don't think I would want to make a circle design. That does change things a lot, though. Because we could theoretically do what they do with, like, what most people do with mining drills. You know, make a little circle, so that way it encompasses the actual patch. The only downside is with burner inserters, that's kind of annoying, and you don't really get that many more out of it. So if we were to make, like, turn this into a circle, we cut off the corners. I guess that does make it like 30% better. Okay, but what if I was gonna say what if we're stingy about what patches we use, but yeah, that's not gonna happen. We'll try this. We'll see what kind of throughput we can get out of it though, because I think 5 long. Oops, um, that was the wrong button. That was supposed to be a deconstruction. Actually, no, that was supposed to be a copy tool. Okay, so this is 40, right? Okay, so some patches I might be able to get this out of. Wait, that was weird. You know what, we're just going to make a blueprint out of this. Blueprint is not having it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's just find a patch. If we place something like this, we get... Oh gosh, yeah, this is actually quite bad. And this one even has off spacing, right? Actually, no, the spacing on this one is good. It just looks really weird. Is 5 too ambitious? I feel like 5 might be too ambitious, but we kind of need it. And then, oh wait, you know what we need to do before we do any of this? I'm realizing now we don't actually, I haven't counted my smelting lanes. That might change my decision a lot. Because it's all going to be about how many I think I can reasonably get, right? So we're making the assumption that Let's see. We're making the assumption that the first few lanes I build by hand and then bots come in. So these are still built by hand. And not built by hand, but connected by hand, sorry, without a train, up until probably we get all of this built. So that will be, let's see, 2 lanes of iron. Oh, should I keep a counter? I should probably keep a counter because I will not be able to keep track of this if I don't. Okay, so stone I don't think is going to be a huge problem. I'm getting a physical piece of paper because I like those. Okay, how many lanes we need? Iron lanes. So we're making the assumption that I need one, each one of these is 2. So that's 1, 2, 3.5 by hand. Because I want, this all has to build before we can switch to the train sections. So that's 1, 2, 3. These are all double lanes. That's 6, 7. We're counting yellow lanes right now. Actually, wait. No. Sorry. 2 yellow, or should I count half lanes? Which is the easiest? I guess I just need to find a standard. So this is 2, 4, 6.5. 6.5. This one is another 2, so that's 8.5. And then this is, this makes it 9. And then we still need the steel too. So this is, oh gosh, this one's actually really weird. So this is a full iron lane, 2 full iron lanes, right? Yeah, full. Okay, so that's, we got up to 9, so that makes it 13. 13 by hand before, or 13 pre-trains. And then after that, it looks like we do switch to, why are these here? Oh, this is for big science. After that, we switch to trains. If we really need, we can probably only get half of our steel. So I might put like a question mark that says maybe 11. Because we could probably get away with slightly less steel here, but not a ton, but to start, we can definitely do a little bit less. Because that is correct, right? This is 48, yeah. Okay. The reason I'm counting the lanes individually is, I don't know, is just because I don't know if these all run full speed, but I'm just kind of making the assumption that every time it splits off, it uses a whole lane, but maybe I should just count the furnaces. That might be easier, right? Because I don't think there's any more steel produced. Honestly, that's pretty accurate to how much we need. So yeah, let's say from this point on, we only need the furnaces. Okay, so that's 758 furnaces. That is, and divided by 24. And subtract however many steel lanes there are, right? Oh, but there's also the copper furnaces. Okay, yeah, this is maybe my initial maybe my initial plan of manually counting was better. Okay, so 150 and 756. 150 stone, 7, we'll just say 760 steel. And then we'll subtract however many steel lanes there are, which is none? Are there no steel lanes at this point? Okay, there's 1 extra steel lane here. So we'll subtract 100. So we'll say 670 left side. Plus the half of the stone. So we can say that's 745 on the left side. That sounds like a lot of furnaces to me. I'm terrified what this final number is going to be. Okay, and all of these, none of these are built by hand because that would be awful. Actually, wait. Most of these are connected by hand. Oh, geez. Up to LDS, right? Yeah, because we need to get to purple science. We'll get to purple science because that's where our rails come from. Stone is good. Okay, so these are all connected by hand. This one's connected by hand. Once we reach LDS, we stop carrying. Okay. So that would be this entire section. 1,000? Okay. So that is, let's call that 1,065. Is there a more accurate way? Is there a more accurate number? I guess if we do it in halves, because 1,000 versus 1,000 and 100 is fairly significant. Let's do bottom half first. Okay, so that's 200. We'll call that 210, and then we'll call above the steel 900. Okay, so yeah, that is a difference about almost 100. Hello, Jimbot. Welcome, welcome. So we're looking at about 1,900, almost 2,000 steel furnaces. Okay. Um, that's a lot. 2,000 steel furnaces. How does that translate to red belt? That's the next question. So 24 is a single red belt, right? Or 24 is a single yellow belt. So that's 2,000 divided by 24. We need 83 yellow belts of resources. Is that a lot? It sounds like a lot. I don't think it's nearly as much as it sounds. It still seems absurdly high, but it's not as overwhelming as I thought it was. Because if I convert that to red belts, that's only 40 red belts, which that means we need about 15 trains. 15 trains seems viable to me. I mean, more viable than, thinking of like the number 80. So yeah, 83 yellow belts of resources. That's insane. 83 yellow belts of resources with burner inserters. Does anybody know how much that would compare? Like if that was purely going into science, right? How many belts of resources does 100 science per minute use? Is there like a standard for that? Let's see, let's count furnaces here. They use 4,000. Okay, so if they use 4,000, if they can reasonably use 4,000 and get that many resources, we can probably get half of that. Of course, I'm ignoring what's built by hand, but that's fine. Let's get a better estimate actually. But yeah, it looks like I'm not going to have a huge issue getting the amount of resources I need. Because if we need 30% less, but our mines are also 30% worse, oh, that's an understatement though. Our mines are like half as bad. It might be a bit of a struggle. Let's see if we do the whole base. Okay, we only do a third of our furnaces by hand, so that's not the end of the world. So yeah, we need to connect. So we'll be connecting 30 yellow belts by hand and then 80 yellow belts via train. That doesn't sound that bad, actually, because like 15 of those will literally be completely built by hand. Yeah, okay. Okay, the numbers are sounding lower every second. Okay, so we need 83 yellow belts. That is the number to beat. We can get, well, actually, no, we don't know how many we can get. That's why we did the math, to figure out how stingy we need to be with our outposts, basically. Now, if the outposts are really nice, if I can figure out a good circular design for the outpost, that could improve our outpost design, because we haven't fully finalized it, despite having something called finalized outposts. It's called just trains, because this is literally just trains. There's nothing else here. So I feel like my audio levels are a little low. Hold on. Maybe I'm just talking quieter than normal. Okay, so now that we have a goal, I think we can convert this into into burner drills as well, right? So 83 yellow belts is a lot of resources per second, right? 83 times 15. That is 1,245 iron per second. Well, any resource. We just kind of added them all together for now, because resource distribution wise, probably doesn't really matter what resources we need too badly. Like, I don't think we'll have any trouble finding an iron lane, right? So 1245 iron per second to run our base that we need to get from trains. Oh my gosh, hold on, my pin broke. I have one pin that's slightly cracked, but not in a good way. So it kind of pops open every now and then. I don't know why I'm using a physical pin, but I like them. They help me keep track of things. I could also type it in here, actually. 124 resources per second. There we go. So that will give us a goal for how much we can get from each train. We're making the assumption that these trains will eventually, that is a key point, eventually become mining productivity 5 or 6. So that would be 0.25. Is mining productivity as simple? Is it as straightforward as like 50% mining productivity is a 50% increase in resources, right? Like there's no, there's nothing wonky going on there. I'm pretty sure it's that straightforward. So 0.25 times 0.375. No, that's not right. 0.375. Let's see, 1245 divided. Wait, isn't there a calculator in the game? Okay, we need 3320 miners for this at mining prod 50%. I don't know why. I guess I can use that as an abbreviation. It's just so it's something that that way we can keep track of the math. Okay, 330 miners. That means if we're doing this and we're assuming we can get all 7. What was that? That was 7 times 5, 35 times 6, 210. So we're looking at 15 trains. 15 rails. That's kind of expensive, but it's not terrible. It might be fine. By posting this, do you get some extra clout favored brownie points? You don't understand how this works? Well, it means I got like a big old pop-up on my activity feed, so that counts for something, right? If you send enough of those, you can get rid of anyone who follows recently. Well, I guess if people use them that often, I could just filter it. But it's not a huge concern right now. But nice. Congrats on the rot 25 stream streak. Actually, that's pretty solid. We're trying to decide how many trains I need. So currently, we're looking at a direct fed design. That requires me to set up 15 different trains, roughly, to get all the resources I need. Whereas the other design, I could make do with... Honestly, it's significantly less, though. That's the thing that makes me skeptical of it. Like, the difference of 10 trains and 20 trains is... Or, sorry, 10 trains and 15 trains is pretty big for my sanity. Because this is very easily... This is 300 drills. So this is literally... I only need 10 of these. And then if I can get patches... If I can take care of the edges slightly, we can do... Probably 8 trains. Now, if we do 8 trains, let's see, our limit is we're saying 1.2. No, we'll say 1.6 times 10. That's the amount of furnaces we can get, or the amount we can move per cargo sections. That actually is 4 red belts. Will I be using pumps and combinators? They're not banned by my rules at all. Just because it has electricity has nothing to do with my rules. It's only banned if there is a direct burner equivalent, so burner inserters, burner drills, and furnaces. Everything else is fair game. We're not using logistic bots either. They're not strictly banned, but they're boring, so we're not using them outside of personal deliveries, but we're not going to be using them to like move resources around. I don't even know if they would be worth it in terms of time save, but we won't be using those. Not a strict ban, but just kind of like a soft, I don't want to use them ban. But yeah, pumps are used, combinators are used. If we didn't allow ourselves to... Combinators we could live without. If we didn't allow ourselves to use pumps, we would probably have 3 times the time goal just by not having pumps. Maybe not 3 times. No, that's probably a bit extreme. But we would probably have double the time goal if we didn't have pumps. Just because we couldn't have water. Any plan to update this? How much do I still have to do? I have to design the resource outpost train, and then I have to put the fueling on the outside. I think because those are the only thing I'm missing in the main base. But some things are harder to design than I was initially thinking. So I don't have an exact date or an estimate. I'm hoping we can do planning soon or test runs soonish. Oh, and we also have to break our thing down into tiers. Okay, so I really, really like the direct fed design. I think it's really cool. But 5 additional trains is a lot, right? Like that's not insignificant. And we're not talking, and sorry, that's not 5 more trains. That's 5 more train sets, which is 40 additional 8 long trains. No, that's an understatement. 7 times. No, actually, yeah, that's right. No, 7 times 5. Actually, no, yeah, that was right. About 40. Maybe more like 45, but not a gross underestimate. I like how in my setup I'm not even considering locomotives being double-headed. Does that make a difference? Yeah, it's pretty big actually. Okay, so we're looking at a difference of about 300, 600 steel, or 600 iron plus another. Oh, and this is per train, so 600 plus. What would this be? 1200. So we're looking at 2000 times 40. 80,000 additional iron. We're looking at 80,000 additional iron, if at least. Maybe more like 100,000 when we account for tracks, if we want to do direct fed. Right? Yeah, because it's more wasteful of trains. Oof. I did not realize the difference was going to be that significant. That's really unfortunate. I can't. It's such a cool design. I mean, if you can't tell, I really, really want to make this work. I think this is, no, it wouldn't go there. I think this is a really fun design with burner inserters, with burner drills. Like, it's really cool. It's just so suboptimal in terms of patching. And 50% is massive. See, I don't know where it went. I can actually do that. What do you mean? Like, can I actually have this as a design? Yes. And it's fairly viable, actually. It's not amazing. If my base was a little bit smaller, I probably would do that. The only issue is it's 50% more upfront cost and 50% more time connecting patches, which is probably a lot, actually. And I don't think it saves much time, if any. I don't think it saves much time. I don't think it saves any time, actually. I think that it's just I think at this point we can just say it's concept art. Because that's really all it boils down to. Oh, you meant if you can't actually. Yes, you can. I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of mega bases use that. I don't know if it's better or worse than feeding a belt, but I've definitely seen this kind of stuff in mega bases. Because once you get like really high mining productivity or something, you could like feed a wagon instantly, which is pretty cool. Just ignore the fact that there is nuclear fuel in it. They look a little close for getting fueled. No, the spacing's right. Yeah, the spacing is good. You've never seen this used? Then we can pretend I made it up. There we go, right? Yeah, I guess as a example. This is how the fueling would work. Let's see, get a loader. Where's that at? Right, loaders are here. Infinity chest. That's not an infinity chest. I click that one a lot. I guess we'll just use coal for now. And then we'll just remove them. Okay. So this is how the fueling works. We would have one additional train on the end. In practice, it would look like this, actually. I can't make this an infinity chest, but this is what it would really look like. We would have one train on the end with fuel that unloads onto the belt directly to feed the burner drills that go into it. Then it would just be double-sided. So that's how we would get fuel to the outposts, and they would just mine directly into the train. Unfortunately, they only move once every like 30 minutes, which is a little bit rough. Which means this probably does have a 30-minute start time, which is rough. When mining productivity goes high enough, mining directly into cars is the only way. Is that actually a thing that's used? I can't imagine, right? Like, I know it has the highest throughput, but I feel like you lose some performance, but I love the idea of it. But yeah, I wish we could make it more dense, but I think this is the limit. Like, I want to be able to just pass fuel between the sides of the burners, but that doesn't increase the density at all. But yeah, there is another pattern you can use that I think saves some belts. This is slightly wasteful of inserters and belt. They're not inserters. It's slightly wasteful of belt. So I can reduce the underground cost by like 20 per row. Which is, it's not insignificant, but not important for testing. Okay, how long does this actually take? Let's see. Mining productivity. Okay, we'll actually have 5. Oh, as in train car. Okay, so I was picturing this. Which was just a hilarious thought. To think that this is like the optimal way to make it to make a mining array. It's better UPS because you cut out the belt, but it usually only happens when you only need like a few miners to fill a blue belt. Oh, you mean for direct mining into cars? Yeah. The main reason it's a consideration here is because it's cool. And if I didn't need 40 red belts of resources, I think cool factor would be worth it. Like if it was the difference between 7 connections and 10, that's not too bad. But 10 and 15 is a lot more. That's a lot more to swallow. Because we're talking like probably an extra 30 to 60 minutes to set up trains. And I don't know if I can swing that. Cars and belts are never worth it to the collision checks. Oh yeah, no, they wouldn't be worth it. I thought you were just making jokes. They're pretty fun though. I really wish we could have used that design, but they're so bad. Like, the fact that you have to manually prime it with cars also doesn't help. I know you can make something like this, which helps you prime it easier. But it's still not great. Oh, wait. I don't think I did it right. Okay, so maybe cars and belts is not good. I didn't realize. Do they have to go the other way? Is that the problem? I've never actually ran into that before. Where they like hit themselves on the corner and get stuck. Or is there a rock here? No, there's no rock. But yeah, this is the ideal design for everything, clearly. Oh, you can't even deconstruct them. Yeah, they're terrible. Why don't I hear anything? Oh, because the song just ended. And there's no sound playing. It was just like dead silent, and I was worried that my computer was breaking. Ooh, what is this? I don't know what that is, but I'm not supposed to have that there. How have I misplaced? There we go. It's like, how have I misplaced? Wait, that's a different one. Wait, what? Where's the thing I was building on? Okay, there we go. I can't believe I misplaced it. But yeah, for a patch like this design is actually really solid. It's just we're not gonna get patches like this very often. So I think we need to plan for smaller ones. Because it would be really nice if we could do like if we could do this. Then we're talking. Okay, so I don't think this design is viable. I'm very glad we have it, but I'm gonna leave it at that. 230, that's not even like, yeah, this is very unrealistic. This is more realistic expectation. And then I think I have the number still typed here. 320 miners divided by 200. Yeah, this is about 16. That's about 16 patches. Okay, let's design a circle, I guess. I think it's time. And yeah, definitely. I definitely epic fail. I don't know how I managed to lose track of my base so often in this game. Yeah, these are all like very viable patches that I have to be willing to use this early. We can be more picky with the outpost, but I think while our base is still building, we just have to get patches connected. We can't be connected. We can't be too picky. Oh my gosh, why are these always... Do I have them on Infinity Filter? I feel like we keep picking up mining drills and I don't know why. Okay, and then we're going to take this. We're going to set it to 100. There we go. Yeah, honestly, this isn't bad. 100, and then... Why did I say 100? I think I'll probably add a little bit of ore here to clean up the patch. Because we'll probably have a few extra drills just to make up for like any missing ones if it's not a full circle. That seems kind of important to me. Now we might need a little bit of red belt to make this work, or we... Yeah, this is too many drills. We might have to have drills going in both directions, which is something I was considering initially, but it definitely seems more important now. Wait, this one's only has 217. Oh, but yeah, but this one would only be able to get about this many on there, which is 30 times 6. Yeah, 180. So yeah, it's still a pretty big difference. This patch is kind of bad though. What's a more realistic one? This one? This one is a real patch. This would be a good one to design our circle, I think. Because this design is more flexible. The other one, if it's not perfectly on the patch, you lose a lot more production than you would think. Like, you could lose up to 70% of the production probably if it's not fully on the patch, unless I have like a weird balancer on the offloading, and I don't think that's very good. Okay, so this is not very circular. Can I make the assumption that it would look something like this? It's not that balanced, but that feel like this fits on a decent amount of patches, right? So if I were to place this here, that's still 250. Placing it here, that's pretty bad, 230. But it fits on all of the copper patches. I don't know what we're going to do about mixed mining. We might have... Can we put these on... Oh, can we put these on a circuit network? Isn't there some way to disable it if it's mining stone? 3 miners are flipped around. Yeah, I'll definitely need to redesign it before I copy it then. Thank you. Let's see where... How did 3 miners get flipped around, actually? Were they the ones on the edges? Because that's really weird. I don't see any miners flipped around. Is it a trick of the light, or did I already fix it without noticing? Because I would buy either. This looks like a fake patch. This does not look real. That looks like something I edited for testing purposes. Yeah, considering there used to be drills here, 100% I made this patch bigger than it can realistically get. Should I add a little bit more edge handling? I think I need more edge handling. Third row from the bottom. I fixed it now. Okay. I didn't hear any sounds. Wait, do I not hear the game? The game's not really making many sounds. Maybe that's the issue. I know music is off, but I feel like I should... Yeah. Maybe sound was just too low for me to actually hear it. Because I wasn't able to hear when it flipped it correctly. That's why I wasn't thinking I fixed it. And that was my only cue, apparently. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger in the middle. Because we do need to make sure we can actually, you know, get all the circles. And then honestly, I think if we just accept that we have a couple on the edge, like we don't really need to make it a circle, right? If things get wasted, they get wasted. The cost of the inserters is nothing compared to the 100,000 resources I'm saving by not having a weird train. So this should work well. There isn't really a design that I can copy, right? Oh wait, of course there's a design I can copy. What am I thinking? There we go. Like this is the most easy design to tessellate ever. Or the most easily tessellatable design ever. Okay, there we go. And then this one we can flip, right? Or do we need to? Actually, no, we don't need to here. It does need to be staggered. Wait, how is this offset? Okay, there we go. Perfect. Honestly, I think having the belt on the end is just confusing me. I don't think I actually gain much from it. Okay, so these are just the inputs. So these ones are fine. We'll just redesign the edge. I think the edge is not that important to work around. Okay, and then we need to make sure none of these are more than 20 in a row. Yeah, I think we need to offload from both sides, or we need to use red belts. Though that is a decision that I think matters. Now, we can get away with very little red belt, so red belt is an option. I don't think it's my preferred option, but it's not so bad that I need to avoid it like the plague. Wait, this isn't correct. Okay, that looks more like the shape I was going for. Okay, and then I think, does that mean I missed one on the end? Nope, it's good. Okay. And I don't want to flip them because then I get off of the pattern, which will make connecting the fuel later a little bit annoying. We definitely don't need that, so we'll just place this here. And then one more row on the end. And then this one, I decided it's easier to just build by hand, right? Yeah. Oh wait, this is off the pattern, right? Nope, never mind. This is correct. Now fuel can only come from like one specific side here, but that's not an issue. And there. And we could technically save, I guess it wouldn't save an underground or any entities, so never mind. I was gonna say we could save a little bit of belt by placing this here, but because it's an underground, it doesn't actually make a difference. Okay, and now we can add fueling later, but this is 290 drills. Okay, that's not bad. And this is somewhat circular. It's not perfectly circular. Honestly, it might be worth just making it rectangular and just accepting that I'm going to waste like 20 inserters. I'm not fully decided on the circle shape. Like obviously, if you make it a circle, you're going to waste fewer drills. But is it really something to worry about? I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe I should just oversize it and accept. Because, like, what's the difference, right? This only uses a total of 300 inserters. So it would be a waste of 10 inserters max, maybe, and like 10 belts. That's so cheap. Yeah, we're just gonna do a rectangle. If we really want to, we can convert it to a circle later. But I think it's much easier to work around a rectangle. It would save resources, but it wouldn't save entities. Not sure which I care about right now. But yes, that is an option. A pretty reasonable option. Okay, so this is 300. Wait, I feel like that is not the same size, though. Yeah, I definitely copied things weirdly. Why isn't that working? Very confused, actually. I feel like that should have been pasteable. But yeah, that needs to go up one. Oh, wait. Oh, I see what I was doing. I see what I was doing. Okay, we're just gonna hand build it. We do need to shift it over one tile, though, I think. We're gonna do a belt here because I'm kind of lost on where it fits. Maybe I should have chosen a bigger test patch just for making the blueprint. Is there a mod that lets you just place drills wherever? Because that could be pretty useful for editing, or even like a console command. Because I feel like I run into that a lot. Okay, so we're just gonna copy this down, and then one more row here, except this is the one that we need to probably just change by hand. We're gonna add a deconstruction planner with only in burner inserters. We get rid of the top row. And then we're going to switch it to blacklist burner inserters, and we're going to get rid of this bottom row. Okay. That looks fine to me. And then this one, you know, we're just going to build it by hand, honestly. It's pretty much half built. Okay, I think that's fine. We can add the input later. Oh wait. We're off. We're off. Wondering why that looked a little bit weird. Okay, so this is 300 drills. Realistically, we can probably expect 280. That seems viable. So now let's do some more math. We're going to do 320 divided by 280. That is 12 patches. Okay, so this design does save 4 patches that we have to connect. That's pretty decent. But yeah, if we wanted to save resources, we could do normal belts. Let's see. It's the difference of 25 entities. That's not that expensive. Fortunately, that's a change we can make later. But 25, I guess it's a total of 50 entities. So we're looking at 50 entities versus 100 iron or something. Is that the decision we have to make? No, it's more than that. It's definitely more than that. What is that? About 8 iron each times 50, 400 iron. Minus whatever this costs, which is pretty much nothing compared to that. So 300 iron. That's not that expensive, though, considering we're about to produce 1200 iron per second. Actually, some of that will be copper. About 800 iron per second. Gosh, this felt like so many... I felt like I was going to get so many drills out of it. But all this work to have 300 drills is insane. Burner inserters suck. If anyone's wondering, they're not good. Okay, we'll blueprint this though. And then we'll try this one instead. We'll try this one again. We're gonna assume those don't run. I'm just trying to make sure it actually does, in fact, save anything. 35 times 6, 210. So 330 divided by 210. It saves 4. This will be built by bots entirely. I won't be placing any of these belts at all. Because this is after we already have a third of our base built, effectively. This is just... the trains are just the only reasonable way I can get another 80 belts of resources without it being miserable to set up. What is this? Now you can't place belts to the west. I like how it's just the left direction. Also, it looks like they kind of arbitrarily decided inserters and belts go the same way now. I like that. That's the thing I like about that. That's such a silly concept. Okay, so now that I've placed this though, like now that I have this design, I'm starting to doubt its usefulness. We are talking 5 less belts though. Sadly, it is outdated. That is unfortunate. Is this a change? If I decide I don't like it, can I change it later? I think I can. Let's just finish the design. Yeah, we'll just finish the design and come back later. Where is it? It's this one, right? Yeah, we're definitely not going to get patches that use all 300. For testing purposes, I'm going to design it around one that does. But it's not going to happen. Okay, let's see if we used red belts. Can we have enough inserters to make this work? Let's see. This is 300. And they each produce 0.375. So we are making the assumption that we have 112 resources per second. This isn't even 4 red belts. We're completely covering an entire patch and we're not even getting 4 red belts out of it. Burner inserters, man. Better to be overbuilt than underbuilt. Yeah, that's what we're trying to design on a full patch. Because we want to get every drill we can. Because we're making the assumption that I am going to lose about probably 10 drills, I think, each time. See, how long is this? 50, 25? Yeah, this needs red belt. It needs red belt or double-sided. But if it's 112 items per second, we can fit roughly 80 inserters on it at 1.2. Does that work? I think it barely works. Actually, no, it doesn't. What if they're at 1.6? If they're fully running, does it work? It's pushing it. It's definitely pushing it. But we can use a red belt. If we use just a small amount of red belt on the end, I think we can make it work. The other option is having trains go from both sides, which I don't love. Oh, but we need a compressor? No, we don't need a compressor, do we? If we balance on the output, we don't need a compressor, right? But if we have to do a compressor with splitters, that kind of complicates things. But let's see, where would that go? So this is 20, so we need red belt here. Hello, Wallywog, welcome. Okay, and then for saturation purposes, we'll do a little bit more than that, because if you have it at the bare minimum, it sometimes gets problems when you get a bunch of prod mods at once, so we'll just extend it more than it needs to go. So we're already looking at 100 red belt. That's not terrible. 100 red belt every like 2 minutes, I think we can do. Well, we'll probably actually have enough buffered by now that it's not a huge problem. What do you mean by a compressor? A series of splitters that just forces all of your belts going in to become fewer belts. So kind of like a balancer, but you don't really care where the inputs are coming from. So we would just do something like this. And that'll make it that I can potentially reduce the amount of red belt going in, because instead of having to connect 5 belts, I only have to connect 4. So that's the idea. But if I want to do a compressor, that does mean I need to bring 5 splitters, which isn't terrible, but I don't know if I have those. I might not have red splitters. Let's see if I automated them. Because that is a very important distinction to make. Yeah, all the 100% ones do. Pretty much any speedrun has them. Once you get to bots, they're just very useful. They make it that if the lanes don't build evenly, at least some things still run. Maybe not along the whole thing, but they at least exist in some places. Okay, I think we do have a little bit of splitter production here. Unfortunately, this isn't automated, so that does not matter. That's not something we can consider. We do produce splitters here. Okay, so we can theoretically use probably... I don't know how many, but I think we'll be fine. I can make the assumption that we can use splitters here, no problem. The other option is to do a decompressor. That's not really a term. If we split it into more lanes and just use yellow belt, though, we might be off to a better start. Okay, where is it? How do I keep losing track of my base? It's on stone, right? There we go. There. Also, let's you know what? I have an idea. Testing. Okay, if I can't find the giant word that says testing, I think we'll never find our base. But yeah, a compressor here. Let's see, what would that look like? I don't love how these are all red belt. Oh wait, is this 6 rows? Oh, this is 6 rows. Okay, well if it's 6 rows, the compressor seems a lot more important then. Because we're getting 6 rows and none of them are full, right? Because we're compressing 6 into like 3 or 4. We'll probably do 4. I don't know if I don't know if this is built right, actually. I can never remember which way you're supposed to compress it. Okay, so this is 10 splitters. This would go here, here, here. Honestly, it doesn't need to be perfect. Does that work? I don't think that does anything. Yeah, I don't think that really does anything. We probably don't need to worry about that because this can't even compress into 4 lanes, so this is probably fine. We can obviously test it later. Now, this is a bit cumbersome, but it does feel kind of expensive. Okay, 250 red belt. We're getting kind of costly here. Let's see, how expensive is that? Oh. Oh wait, that's underground. 11. Okay, so red belt's not that expensive. It's not that much more than a yellow underground, so maybe it's not the end of the world. So we're looking at a grand total of 3,000 extra iron for this. Which is, yeah, nothing compared to the trains, so maybe we can survive. Okay, and this is going to a train that is 8 long. We also need to get the fueling set up, which I guess we should probably move this over. Because the fuel's coming from here. This will go straight through. And then we can get a pattern, right? Oh, why is fuel... Oh my gosh, every underground is the wrong way. Oh no, half the undergrounds are the wrong way. How did I manage that? I mean, it's not a big deal because we can just copy the one that we've corrected, but yeah, I don't know how I managed that. Okay. We'll just delete all these belts. They don't matter. We're replacing them anyway. And then fuel, I guess we can change if fuel comes from the back or the top. I think, actually, if we have it come from the top, I think that makes more sense. No, it should be on the same side as... No, never mind. It should be on the same side as the ore. Would it be better to split the end of the minor columns into... Yeah, it would. That's an option. It's definitely high up there. I wanted to like design it with all red belt first to see if it feels like I'm saving a lot without it. Because it probably is worth it to just use one splitter and use a bunch more yellow belts, because yellow belts are pretty cheap. Entity cost wise, it's also lower. The only reason I'm thinking of doing this is for balancing purposes, but I don't think that matters that much, especially if we balance on the output. Like, balancing on the output solves all of our problems, basically. So, yeah, I think we'll be able to manage. The only reason we're doing this is to get a compressor, basically. But I don't know how important that is yet. Okay, something like that could work. Ideally, it would be one tile over, though, right? Yeah. Something like that is totally fine. That can't be moved. Okay. It doesn't really matter where the splitters are here, so I'm not too concerned with that. This one's definitely going to be in a weird spot, but I think that's okay. And then I guess for consistency's sake, let's actually move this up a tile, although that doesn't matter that much. Okay, so now this should be something I can copy. That's not supposed to be there. Okay, so let's try moving this up a tile and see if it works. Okay, that's actually perfectly distanced. I wasn't expecting it to be so perfect. Okay, and then now we can copy this top side. Oh, I think I know why it got flipped. I accidentally staggered it at some point. Okay, might as well save that belt. This one's not necessary. This can go straight forward, and then it can just turn. That's not worth the entity savings, I don't think. Okay, that looks all right. We do have an option of snaking it. Would that be better? Yeah, actually, it's probably better to snake it, isn't it? Okay, so this adds the cost of a splitter. Okay, so this costs 7 entities. 2 of them are splitters. The other option, it's looking a lot less promising, actually, but if we do this on the end, we can save on splitters. I think start time-wise, they're probably going to be pretty comparable. Oh, I guess this doesn't really help with... well, okay, we could send it through, then we can split it here. Okay, so this adds more entities. I don't think it has a huge advantage, because I don't think... I'm pretty sure splitters aren't terrible for UPS. To the point where I need to avoid them that heavily. But that is something to consider. We can snake it instead. Okay. So this isn't terrible. This gets fuel. Yeah, it does look like we probably benefit from a splitter on the end of this. Having full belts might be better. Oh, good point, good point. Having the splitter does make it more likely that they're going to be full. Especially if we do a compressor. Although I don't think that matters that much, but yeah, if we compress everything, it's going to start very unevenly, but it will make it that the inserters probably are a little bit happier. I'm assuming a splitter with a compressor with a prio and a splitter without a prio are similar enough performance-wise that I don't need to be that concerned with it. Okay. And this does... Wait, how many is this? This is 12. Maybe we need to go into a compressor either way. I could do 2 compressors, right? Because the thing is, this needs to go into 8 belts of resources somehow. So I think either way we need a compressor. Actually, yeah, let's set up the train part real quick. Okay, and this is really stupid. Just the entire run. Okay. I decided I wanted to do double-headed. And then 8 trains, and then 1 to 2 trains for fuel. I haven't decided on the fuel yet, so it's going to accelerate a little bit slower, but with how often this moves, which is not very, I think that's totally fine. Where even are trains? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll just do 1 for now. It's probably not good enough. Is there any way to copy this with the trains and also delete it at the same time? I feel like there's not. Okay, you know what? That's fairly even, actually. That's not too bad. And then these need red belt, right? Hmm. These are not even. Okay. No, they don't need red belt, right? Yeah, they need red belt, darn it. Okay. We either need a red belt or we need yellow belt on each side. So these actually need to be split again. How do I divide this evenly? Can I make this work? Actually, wait. Maybe I can make this work with 6. It's it's possible. It's definitely possible, right? No, it's not, because this is more, well, yeah, this is more than half a yellow belt. There's a possibility I can make it work with 6, but it's pretty unlikely. It might not be worth it. Let's see, 1, 2. Okay, so 6, we're assuming 72 inserters. Unfortunately, it loses 1 to 2 each time, so we can make the assumption that we will lose 12, so that's 60 inserters times 1.2 resources. That is 72 resources per second. Fully upgraded, it's about 1.65 or so. So that's 100 resources per second. This mine's more than that. That is unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. If all of the inserters could guarantee work, I think we could get away with 72 times 1. Yeah, if all of the inserters could work, I think we can get away with it. But since they don't, we can't. Oh, that is very sad, actually. That's very sad. Okay. And we can't sacrifice 10% of the production just to make it that the inserter balance is better. Like, that's silly, considering the whole reason we're doing this kind of design is to save on trains. If we lose 10% production, that's a whole extra train. Okay, so I need to make a 12 to 8 balancer. Is balancer the right word? Okay, what if I think of it in halves? What if I think of it as a 6 to 4? That doesn't seem so bad. That will need 6 splitters, right? 1 yellow belt each and a split yellow shared. You use 3, but wait, let's see. 1 yellow belt each and a split yellow shared would use 3 yellow belts per 2 carts to use their 12 belts. That sounds better than using 12 inserters, I think. Okay, so you're saying 1 yellow belt each and then a split yellow. So basically, we split this one. So something like that, effectively. This would be a perfectly... Oh, wait, this is split. This is probably out the wrong way, though. But something like this gives me 2 belts, right? That's the idea. Yeah, I think that's fine. And the nice thing is none of these are using like a full belt perfectly. I think edge condition wise, this is fine. Like it, and it with this splitter, that does help balance it a little bit, which is nice. Yeah, I think we can work with that. And now they get side loaded, right? Because this needs to be a red belt for sure. I actually need to go look at an old design because I don't remember exactly how I wanted this set up. But it should be this one. Train testing should have it. I really thought this would look a lot denser than it does. But, I mean, this is still better than the alternative, because the alternative is connecting literally 83 yellow belts by hand with a controller, right? So it's not like this design is bad by any means. I just was hoping it would be significantly better. Train input. Okay. That's not how you spell input, but whatever, that's fine. Just train? No, I need to load just trains. Just trains. I love my naming system. It's definitely coherent and standardized. Absolutely fantastic. You're thinking more have the left belt be split to get picked up by the far inserters? So the reason that I'm splitting it like this is because we don't really have good spots to sideload it. We'll try it. We'll try again though once I get this pasted. Like you're saying, like have this have this splitter one just go sideload over here or something. I think we don't have as much space to work with as you're picturing. I'm thinking. Like we don't have the space to make something go to the other side. Is basically what it boils down to. We can change what side the iron goes on very easily, right? Yeah, that part's flexible. Fuel definitely doesn't need a red belt. Or does it? No, it doesn't. No, that's crazy. Fuel doesn't need a red belt. This can also be downgraded to a yellow belt, which would be nice. Because this is basically what we have to work with. So this needs to be a red belt initially, and then it gets downgraded to a yellow after the turn. That's fine. And then we want to minimize how much red belt we have to use. So I guess that would be... So this would sideload here. I think we need more space. And we can't grab from a corner, right? Oh, we have to grab from a corner. Okay. That is actually quite bad. Oh, that's why iron's on that side. Okay, never mind. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so iron has to come here. Coal has to go here. Okay, so something like this is what we're looking at. I like how I chose the end cap to have this fuel lane on. And then this would go here, rotate, downgrade, and then rotate in or away. It doesn't matter. Okay, so that's okay. The fact that it's grabbing from a corner really sucks. I don't think there's a great way around it though. Like having iron on the close side and having high density right at the beginning helps a lot, but it does not perfect. Hello, Life's Faded. Welcome. If I have enough, if we do a perfect split, maybe we can get away. Oh wait, that doesn't have the input speed. I was gonna say maybe we could get away with like side loading here with your extra resource belt, but we'll test this one first. See if we have to redesign it. Because I think the later we can add it in, the better. But it might not be an option. And then we'll add the logic. We'll add the logic later. Okay, so now we can copy this. And hopefully things work out. This can actually be a red belt. This could be an underground, perfect. Splitter-wise, we don't really need a prio, but we'll put one anyway. We'll get rid of that one. Handle that edge condition for once. Okay, and then we'll connect all of the inputs later. For now, I'm just going to cheat and give myself an infinity loader for testing purposes. Because we'll probably want to make it a little bit closer. Okay. So that looks good. Now we can copy this again. Well, not quite. There we go. Rotate it. Does this work? Yes. Okay, now I think we have something that tessellates. Perfect. Okay, I like how I'm doing one half at a time, and that's because if I copy the train, everything breaks. Which I don't want to happen. Okay, and now this needs some kind of buffer chest, I think. I haven't fully decided how I want to do that, but this is solid fuel, right? And this is 8, okay. So this is what we did last time, which is okay. Then I think I might actually want a solid fuel buffer. Not entirely sure. It might not be necessary. But solid fuel buffers are fairly cheap, so it could be worth it. Underground, underground. Okay, side load, and then we have to split it. And then this goes towards the lane. And then this goes towards the actual base. So we have a couple options here. This is why I'm not sure if we need a buffer. So one option is to do like half of the buffer here and half the buffer here, because I don't want a ton of buffering, right? Buffers mean inserters are constantly running more often, and it's not great. And we do need some form of belt buffer here. So this is just to make it that the base doesn't like run out. Then we need a prio. Because we don't want these ones to run out of fuel. So this is effectively, well, let's replace it with regular belt first. This is effectively an expensive chest, but it doesn't require inserters. So this can hold 240, which is a little bit low, actually. We need to be able to buffer 200. So maybe I should just do a chest. Like we could do maybe 5 chests or something instead. Or 4 chests. This could work. Throughput-wise, this should also be totally fine. Yeah, that might work. We can't grab from a splitter. Actually, we can grab from a splitter if it's a pure resource. Oh, but it's fast, so we can't grab from that. Never mind. Have you considered using Fluid Wagon with local solid fuel production? If I do that, the start time is going to be incredibly high, or I'm going to waste a ton of chemical plants, so that doesn't really benefit. That doesn't really have an advantage, I don't think. What's the density of solid fuel? 2,500? Yeah, it doesn't have a benefit. It's roughly the same amount per train. Maybe 20% more dense, but makes the outpost way harder to deal with. That lower belt is from the mine. Yeah. That's correct, right? What do you mean by that? But yeah, we did briefly consider the fluid wagon, but it's not, I don't think it's that viable. Because it basically means you have to oversize the outpost by like 300% in terms of the amount of chem plants you need at the outpost, which is a lot. So it's not, that's a lot of oversizing. Whereas if we have fuel come from my main base, the oversizing only happens once, not 16 times. Where you have the buffer for the trains inserters. So this goes to both the mine and... This one gets split into both the mine and the recycle loop. We have it connected to the wrong spot, though. Oh, is that what you meant by that? Yeah, it's definitely something we've considered for future outposts. Because it does make sense, but with the burner inserter, start time is just so high. You need a factor of like 4 for any local production. Now, for the farther outposts later in the run, we do actually use locally produced solid fuel, but it's directly mined from nearby patches. This is too early for us to be able to afford that many chem plants and pump jacks. Otherwise, we would probably do it here too. We do it later when we start caring about UPS, but right here, it's just kind of a let's get things up and running fast phase. Okay, so this might work. And then we're going to copy a ton of infinity chests right now, I think. So that would be this one. All right, the inserters don't have logic yet. That's fine. Apparently there is someone pinged me the other day and said there was an update that broke inserters. We weren't up to date, so it didn't matter for us, but apparently burner inserters were starting with no fuel, which is really funny. Okay, this is not set up correctly, though. We do not have any form of fuel production. Oh, wait, this needs to be side-loaded, right? Yes. Yes, we need a side load here. Okay, and this side load is important for our fuel protection. So input prio left. Okay, so this will only work if fuel's backed up. That actually, no, that's not. We'll go with this one. Can I move this over one tile? I think I can. I think I can. Okay. I don't know if that matters. We'll shift it over one tile. Okay, perfect. Okay, now this is something we should be able to copy. Good. And then we'll do the exact same on the other side. Now, if anyone's unfamiliar with this logic, this is effectively telling the inserters not to run unless there is enough fuel backed up on the belt. That is essential with any self-feeding inserter that is moving anything other than pure fuel or is competing with another resource. So this one should be solid fuel greater than 3. And this is just saying only run if it is completely backed up. It's very, very important. But it's only for the self-feeding ones. Otherwise, you don't generally need it. Okay, and because there's no solid fuel, these won't work, which is exactly what I want. We're going to add a testing solid fuel here. Now, this probably doesn't need to be red belts, but I think that helps with the startup time for sure. We could even do something like this, just so it starts a little faster. Not a lot faster, but this should start like 30% faster if we have this extra belt here, which is pretty decent. But yeah, we can either do a buffer or we can do the belt buffer. Honestly, the belt buffer is kind of fun. I kind of want to use that just for that reason. I know that's not why I should make some decisions, but I think it's important to keep the designs fun, right? Okay, so as you can see, none of them are running, but as soon as this backs up, it still doesn't run because I didn't click that button. There we go. So now if we take the fuel from it, they all stop. You can't sideload a splitter. You cannot sideload a splitter, unfortunately. Did you have a cool idea for sideloading it? Or would it just make it more compact? I think I actually want to prio the left side. You just see you side alone. Oh, I am. Oh, right here. This splitter won't actually exist, so that's not a big deal. We'll be removing this. This is just for testing purposes. Okay. They somehow don't run. Why? That's actually really weird. That's problematic. Oh, we haven't reset them since we didn't have the logic connected. That's why. Never mind, it's good. It's good. Okay, and now there's one thing I was missing. All right, we need to filter the train, which is very annoying, but it has to be done. We're gonna rotate all of these because it actually matters which spot is filtered. The first one has to be filtered with solid fuel, and then the rest have to be filtered with iron, which takes a while. There's no click and drag. Fortunately, you can copy the trains to each other, so I only have to do this for one train. Well, 3 trains, actually, for stone, iron, and copper, but that's fine. Okay, let's delete them, and we're going to undo that. Okay, that's not good. Is this not set up properly? Right. This doesn't work if the output's too high. There we go. Okay. So we actually don't want it to start full speed, apparently. There we go. This is a pretty unreal... Instantly placing things isn't a very realistic scenario, so I'm not too concerned with that. We could add another protection. Like, one option is to read just the belt in front of you, but that's fairly UPS heavy to do for what will amount to 3,000 inserters. No, 400 inserters. That's very different numbers. Okay, once these reach a steady state though, this startup time is not an issue, so I'm not too concerned with this. It's just a little slow to start. Okay, once this is all backed up, everything is good. Yeah, I guess it doesn't. Once these get some fuel inside of them, the start time doesn't matter at all. So I don't know what I'm concerned with. Okay, and then I think it's time that we actually have to set these correctly. Okay, yeah, that doesn't work. They have too much off time like that. There we go. Yikes. Why is that happening? I'm hoping that just happens because of the startup delay, but that could actually be very bad. If it does that constantly, I think the world will end. Let's see. Let's delete these and see what happens. It happens whenever they fill up the fuel. And it only happens for a couple... it actually happens for like 20 seconds. It's actually pretty bad. Maybe we have to do this. It's not great, but the startup time might be a bit rough. Otherwise, maybe I should just do the belt buffer because that has a much higher max throughput. Some of them, yeah. So we've accounted for that in our calculations. So that's not a problem. Because even when they're stuck, it still has twice the throughput of doing it any other way. So it's not nearly as bad as it looks. Okay, let's connect actual patches. I like how this isn't actually an iron patch that I'm testing it on. We'll make an artificial iron patch, I think. Okay, where does this go? Okay, that's fine. These are going to be pretty messy connections for now, but that's not a problem. But yeah, we'll copy this to an iron patch, I think, to make sure our blueprint actually works and starts at a decent pace. Perfect. Okay. Now we don't have an unloading yet, but I think the idea is there. I wish our fueling was better. Actually, this can't. Why is this a red belt? This literally can't output fast enough to use a red belt. There's no situation where it needs that. There we go. Heat throughput is annoying. Oh, you're still working on your nuclear plant, I see. Okay, let's see if we can find an iron patch. I think that would be good. Why did I put step to grid? Yeah, let's see if we can find an equally sized iron patch. Honestly, that's not too bad. We can mostly fit it here. This is only missing like one drill. Yeah, we can live with that. And we can do this too. Oh, look at that. It's a whole patch. Who would have thought? Okay, we are still missing the infinity chest here though, because we haven't added the fuel loop yet. Let's see, where is that? Is there any way, is an infinity wagon a thing? I feel like it's not, but that would be really useful right now. But yeah, I'm fairly certain that doesn't exist. Okay, so hopefully... Actually, yeah. Oh, wait, this does serve as a decent protection. Because fuel is prioritized this way, they're going to get all of these started before fueling really happens, I think. Maybe I should do a full belt. Displace the rail with 12 infinity chests. Oh, yeah, that could work. It doesn't work for this one, unfortunately. Like, I can't use it to purge the outputs. Okay, you know what? These are all right. That's actually... Huh. That's actually kind of bad. Yeah, I can unload it. I just didn't want to have to set up and unload. Okay, so this is more than I've ever seen get backed up with solid fuel. That is with stack size 3, yeah. I guess because they all activate at one time. Maybe it would be better for me to read just the belt in front of it. That does make it a lot safer, though, which is nice. Actually, does it? With red belt, though, it's not a perfect solution. Cryo to the mines first to make sure the ore is on the belt. I don't think that fixes it. The issue is that 12 inserters try to grab fuel at the same time, and I think they're always going to prioritize grabbing fuel. The start time is so high. Neither prio seems optimal. Well, that doesn't make sense. Something needs a prio. One of them is definitely optimal. It really has to do with making the inserters work most of the time. You know what? This is only going to be a problem for one train. Maybe I'm overthinking it. It doesn't matter. Right? This happens once, and once the second train rolls around, it's not an issue anymore. Inserters will be over full far sooner than any mining happens. That's the thing, though. They need to be. It's very important that we have the trains. I guess with the logic, it's not that important. And as long as this happens in less than like 5 minutes, we're good. But we want the inserters to be full before the drills. That helps a lot with inserters not dying. So it seems suboptimal, but that's only when you compare it to something that has electricity. The optimal option for burner inserters is usually very different, because we have to consider burner inserters are terrible. Very important. I guess we can just keep the name. It doesn't matter. Actually, I'm just going to redesign it. Let's see if I actually can figure out how it works. Aerospace, side A. Okay, that would be this one. Whoops. Did not add a weight condition. And it's going like 4 times speed. There we go. But yeah, in pretty much any situation, there's going to be a delay. It all comes down to, let's see, let's do this with inactivity. They should actually both be inactivity, I think. Right? Actually, no, this one shouldn't be activity. This should be and full cargo. Well, it can't be a full cargo. You know, we're just going to do time passed. Time passed greater than 120. I don't remember how fast it empties the cargo wagon. But for testing purposes, we can just use 120 and we can narrow it down. Okay. Now for unloading, the way the unloading works, same general concept, except we filter out, wait, is that 6? Yeah, except we filter out the fuel. So it looks something like this, and then we filter out iron to the left. Actually, we should filter out solid fuel to the right. Practically speaking, it makes no difference. That is solely to make it that I can copy it a lot easier when I make this stone lane as well. Okay, that should work. Fuel gets emptied last, so that's fine. We actually need a splitter here. Needs to go 1 tile. Okay. And now the iron can go into an infinity chest. The solid fuel on the other hand actually can't go into an infinity chest quite yet, because this is important. We have to make sure our recycle loop has enough internal buffer. Otherwise things break. Which is an annoying thing to have to consider, but you know, that's burner inserters in a nutshell. There's always an annoying thing to consider. Okay, I think this is fine. Oh yeah, we also can't use buffer chests if anyone's wondering. Inactivity seems the best. Well, the issue is that it can get, for the initial startup at least, it can be inactive before it gets ore. I guess it's only going to matter once though, so it's probably not a big deal. Yeah, the fact that it's only a problem once is, I think, okay. Inactivity can break things, which I don't love. Actually, no, ooh, inactivity isn't great though, unless I do a, if I do inactivity, I need a balancer. If I do a time passed, I don't necessarily need a balancer. Let's do time passed. No, well, if we do time passed and we do math, that's our best bet. Yeah, they get fueled from the 50 we have in the train, and the train is set up to have fuel in the first slot, so that way it prioritizes emptying the iron first. Otherwise, they would enter solid fuel first, and then they would brown out before they grabbed any more. They could potentially brown out before they finish unloading the train. And then we recycle all of the solid fuel back into... This is going the wrong direction, so we're just gonna do this for now. It's supposed to be here. There we go. Perfect. Now this one, we'll say this is recycled fuel. We'll give it, or not, no, recycled fuel is the top one, and this is fresh fuel, and it's going to prioritize the recycling. Output prio doesn't matter. Okay, so this should work. It will start in loading. We can see you get pure lanes of iron, which is very nice. We get 8 of them, which I think is right. We might have these go into a yellow belt. I don't think... yeah, I might actually have a little bit of red belt here. But considering these empty pretty fast, I don't think it's that much. I mean, we have yellow belt going in, right? We don't need a yellow belt going out. Okay, so now that they've done one train, there's only 3 backed up at each one. That's not too bad. That's still more than what you would get if they weren't self-feeding. So I think it's still worth doing this design. I don't know how long it takes to fill, but it seems pretty decent. See, all of these seem to be running. So we're definitely... Oh, wait, these aren't running. Oh, that's because we only have one train. Right. It's very easy to set up another train, right? For like testing purposes. Let's assume we have 2 trains running full speed. This is definitely enough space for that. Oh gosh. We did break everything though, which is not ideal. Okay, let's see. Basic train rail signal is all we need here. And then... Sure. It's not actually going to be a circle, but this is totally fine for testing. Okay. Then we'll add another rail signal here. And here, and that's good enough. We're not putting that many trains, right? It seems to be working somewhat. Yeah, the fact that they're not running full speed is making it complicated, but I think it is working, yeah. Oh, and then we'll just put a requester chest or infinity chest with rocket fuel over here for filling. And then this one be filtered to rocket fuel, because we will have rocket fuel here. Okay, let's actually get a 3rd train. I think that's important. Oops. That's fine. Okay, so this should be able to run constantly now. There we go. The splitter idea seems to be working very well. That seems much nicer than the compressors that I wanted to do, so I'll take that. Okay, so this is emptied. Is 90 seconds not enough? 90 seconds might not be enough. Okay, yeah, now that... Okay, yeah, it looks like realistically we have about 10 on average. Which means we can now do math, right? Oh, I don't really know how much the burner inserters move. 90 seconds is not enough, though. Now, it does look like we lose a little bit of production. when things back up, but it doesn't seem to be that significant, right? Yo, what's up, Delta? Thanks so much for the sub. Welcome, welcome. We're doing some train stuff, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm not good at. We'll do an activity here too. Actually, should it be... What's a good amount of activity? 1 second? Just for testing purposes, I don't feel like fine-tuning right now. Okay, so it definitely unloads faster than it fills up. That's a good sign. And this is... I mean, this is 8 full yellow belts of resources, right? So, like, this isn't bad. Well, actually, it's more like 7. Because they're not full belts. Yeah, we don't lose a ton of production. Because as long as we have a train that's ready to go, it's fine. This is just voiding stuff. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that these are backed up considering we only have 10 going in. You're turning a red belt into 2 yellow belts and then balancing them into 2 yellow belts? Yeah, so the reason for that is red belt's kind of expensive. So having an extra 4, well, especially with the undergrounds, we're talking like 200-ish extra red belt and probably like 20 extra red undergrounds, which are kind of expensive. So that's just to reduce the cost and make it a little bit more viable for burner inserters. This is our tier 1 outpost that we're designing right now. So this will be getting all the resources we need for our main base using trains, which is fun. I love burner inserters and trains. They work great together. Okay, is the uptime decent? Yeah, I feel like we don't back up too badly. Let's see. Occasionally we do lose... Yeah, occasionally we lose 5% of production. I don't think that's bad. If we had more red belt, would that work? No. If we had a larger buffer, that could work, but that's just more expensive. Your question, or why are you rebalancing 2 belts which are already connected by the red splitter? You mean this one? Yeah. I guess I could do just the prio here first, right? Is that the same effect? The idea was to try to get exactly a 50-50 split, but that might not matter. Let's see. Without the prio here, this gets exactly a quarter. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter that much. Let's see, are you allowed to use bots, and are they also solid fuel? It is purely vanilla, so no. They are not solid fuel. We are using bots, but we are limited to basically construction bots only, because otherwise it would just take way too long. Okay, so that only gets rid of that extra belt. I guess that's fine. But yeah, it's only, it's purely vanilla, so no mods to change anything like burner inserters and no like burner assembling machines, burner labs. If you're worried that makes it less complex, don't worry. There is absolutely no difference between using electricity for burner inserters and assembling machines. It's like a 1-to-1 trade of power poles to inserters. It doesn't matter. It comes up a lot, so I'm used to saying that. But let's give an example of what my designs look like. And then they have a power pole here. It's going the wrong way. So this is an example of what a design would look like with electricity. This is an example of what it would look like without it. Almost no difference. So I would prefer to go purely vanilla whenever the change is that little. Maybe balance from the sides where there are not miners on either side of the ore belt. I don't know if that matters that much, Because we have, we're inserter limited more than anything, so I don't know if we really need that balance. This is also a really, really good patch. So this is more than we'll normally have. So if we were to balance from the sides, like we don't really have space in most patches on the sides. Oh, those are some good patches. Most of our patches are going to look like this. Where if we can balance on the sides, it's going to be like 8 drills. These fill, honestly, these fill fairly evenly. What's weird is that they're not unloading fast enough. I don't think I copied the inactivity logic to all of them. Maybe, maybe 1 second is too little. That could be the issue. I don't think I don't think inactivity is the way to go here. You mean from, oh, you mean the other way. So you mean have like extra here go to the outside? That could work. It's all side loading anyway. There's nothing to lane balance. Well, we have more lanes than we have belts. So it's not so much that we'd be lane balancing it, as it is we'd be offsetting the places that are missing some drills. Like if we had a couple extra in the middle, we could offset that missing a drill if there's a gap in the patch. Yeah, this is yeah, this doesn't work. I think inactivity, it doesn't work just because this will be filling up its buffer. So I think we do full on iron, right? That's probably the way to go. Do item count iron is greater than, actually equal. Let's just do equal. What is that? 1950 times 8? What number is that? 1950 times 8. 1516. Okay. Okay. And then we'll leave it. We can leave with inactivity because there is a limit to. Actually, no, we shouldn't leave with inactivity. Let's leave with iron equals 0. No, that's the same. I think we should leave based on a timer. Because this is something that's a lot easier to calculate. So let's do 1.6 times 10. So that's 16 items per second. That's more than a bell. Okay, so we'll say 15 items per second. So what is that? 1600? Is that the number I had earlier? I think it was 1600 divided by 15. 10,040. That's not right. Am I off by a factor of 10? Somehow? I think I'm off by a factor of 10. Oh, that's... Yeah, it definitely doesn't need to wait for 1,000 seconds. What did I do wrong? Thank you. I forgot to multiply it by 8. Yes. It's like something seems wrong here. I was looking at a single belt. That is a very big difference. Okay, so that's 100 and it takes 130 seconds. If anyone's wondering, this is the fastest you can possibly unload a train automatically. Which is not very fast. It takes 2 minutes to empty the train. Or almost 2 minutes. I think I could use a red belt and do it like 10 seconds faster. If I just have a small stretch of red belt, but like, burner inserters, man. They suck. Okay, so this should work out pretty perfectly, right? Oh, actually, yeah, that's pretty good. Now the real question is, does the solid fuel fill up in the time? Good, it does. Okay, so this honestly looks all right. I don't hate this. 3 trains definitely isn't enough, but we can probably make do with 4. Yeah. Yeah, if we unload via chest and have 3 times the trains, yeah, we can offset that. Don't know if that's I don't know if that's worth it, but it is something we can technically do. But yeah, we would need 3 times the trains to offload into a chest. So if anyone's wondering why we're not doing that, that's why. Actually, no, it's more like 2.5. Because it's 12 inserters versus 5 is your maximum amount of inserters. And I don't know if the 1% downtime is better. Train to chest is faster. Okay, again, no, it's not faster when it comes to burner inserters. It's faster normally. It's not faster when it means you have 40% of the inserter count. As crazy as this sounds, you might benefit from reducing the unloading inserters on the fuel wagon. You mean just like save cost? I mean, yeah, I could definitely save there. But yeah, it's only faster. It's only faster when you can use stack inserters or fast inserters. It's hard to overstate how bad burner inserters are. Because this is how we can unload into a chest. Let's do it here. We can do. I think it would look like this. What's the minimum inserters you need to saturate a belt? 10? No, 6. It's not 10. 15 divided by 1.2. I need 13. It's faster if you consider 16 items per second instead of 15. I'm not considering belt throughput actually, because these will be working probably for about 1 hour without the final stack inserter upgrade. But yeah, it's faster if you consider 16 items per second instead of 15. I don't quite get what that's referring to. It still doesn't relate to having 5 inserters though. Like this is how many inserters you can get on a train, I think. I'm not sure if you can tessellate 5. But potentially, it's potentially 5, but it might just be 4. Input, input, input. Okay, that one can't get 4. Okay, and then if we were to tessellate that, how would that work? Let's see, this works so far. Okay, that's good. So we could do 6 on every other train. That's an option. Look at the fuel wagon unload. It does look like we don't need a big of a buffer here. What, here? What's the idea there? Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, so yeah, it is. Oh, the fuel. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this one definitely can do with a smaller buffer. That can save. Well, what I could do, what if I do a smaller buffer and then some going onto a belt? Like this is an option, right? Because I want this many initially just for startup time, but I could probably do with just like maybe 1 buffer here to keep things running while the train is away. So maybe I could do that. Because I want this many inserters. Maybe could do with 1 less. But I could definitely do a smaller buffer. Yeah, that there's no reason not to do that. This one, we could probably decrease the internal buffer as well to reduce solid fuel waste. Okay, so those are both good options. The wagons contain 50 fuel. How many solid fuel does how many swings does 3 solid fuel last? 3 solid fuel lasts 300 swings, I think. What's your thought process there? What's the end goal with that thought? Okay, yeah. So we can stagger it if we really want to and get not that. We can get 5 for wagon if we want to go to a chest. Yeah, this is what a chest setup would look like. I don't love it. And where do you put solid fuel into wagons? It's recycled to make these self-feeding. You could legit have 12 inserters unloading the chest, and the contents of the chest would power the next inserters. How am I going to filter out the iron, though? If you have a blueprint, feel free to share it, but I don't know how you expect me to get 12 inserters into a chest. Oh, okay, so you're just saying I still have the same, like, YOLO approach? We can't filter the chest, though, so that prio can break things. Something seems wrong at the unload depot. It seems like some of the wagons are only loading on one side. Oh. Do we not have the prio set properly? Oh, I see the issue. It has nothing to do with the unloading. It has to do with me setting a buffer after things were already set up. Good catch. But yeah, unloading into a chest is risky. We can't really guarantee it works that well. It probably works most of the time, but that's kind of scary. Let's see, how much is this? 6, 12, 24. We would need 2 stacks of solid fuel in this. You can guarantee there'll be 50 fuel in each wagon. That's not enough, though. We need 100. Yeah, I'm guaranteeing there's 50. I'm not guaranteeing there's 100, though. And I'm also not guaranteeing they unload the same way. So with your design, we need to do this. We need to make sure that solid fuel gets emptied first. Could it still not backlog, or is the solid fuel overflow small enough that it will never backlog? As long as this is as long as this thing before the prio is long enough to hold about 200 fuel or 400 fuel, we're good. So we just need this buffer here, from here all the way back to the entrance, to hold 400 fuel. So it can either be a chest or it can be a belt. But yeah, we can pretty much guarantee that it won't overflow. Or we should be able to. It was working before. Oh, yeah, there we go. Maybe it's fine. There's 2K items in the wagon, 12 inserters. Okay, but you're not answering. That's not the right question that's not the right math you're doing. We don't care about how much it can move before running out of fuel on average. It's all about startup time. To start all of these, we would need 3 fuel in each, right? Isn't that the number that matters? Let's test it. These didn't get fuel, so it doesn't work. Okay, we could do 2 stacks of fuel, but that doesn't sacrifice a ton of train space, so that's viable. Let's check on it. Okay, so this is backlocking. Is there something wrong in this prio? Okay, this should not be backlogging at all, though. What's the issue with it? Hmm. We could just do... We could just do this. So you are basically sending more fuel back than we are taking with me? We shouldn't be. We should be recycling the same amount at least. As long as it's prioed correctly. Maybe I just thought these would be more power hungry than they are. But like we're sending back 200. At minimum we're sending back 200. Right? Or we're sending back, yeah, 200. Maybe this buffer's too large? But yeah, if we did 2 solid fuel in this, this could work. Okay, so this would let us use chests. And it probably is fairly safe. Okay, so this would let us use chests. We're sacrificing 1% train storage for 1% more production. I don't know if that's worth it, but might be fine. Maybe it's more production. I don't know why this isn't working. Is it because of mining productivity? This was working perfectly for hours. I mean, I have a fix. I have a very easy fix for it. Like, it's not a problem to fix. I just don't know why it's not working that well, but we can just do this. And we can just say this is less than 2,000. Only run if this is less than 2,000 or something. That should be fine. It's because you're overfueling. That doesn't make sense, though. We're recycling stuff. So something should... Like, it should balance itself out. Something's off with my logic somewhere. Because we've done this before. We literally ran this for a really long time and it wasn't breaking. Since it was working for hours, wouldn't that indicate that it's just slightly off? Well, no, it never stopped working. Yeah, like, see, this one works fine. There's no backlog here. Yeah, I guess if you're interpreting it that way, I didn't mean it worked for hours and then stopped working. Oh wait, we cut it off eventually anyway, so maybe. Maybe it didn't work. Actually, why is this one not working? Okay, so it got broken because of the mod. Okay, cool. I love that bug. I love that bug. Why is the prio not fixing it? I mean, this fixes it just fine. Right? Oh, actually, no, it doesn't. Or does it? Actually, yeah, that... No, this does fix it. No, yeah, that does fix the problem. Is the prio wrong? If the startup is the reason, yeah, that's true. I don't think the difference is that bad, but we could just have it in one of the trains. Now the we might need an inserter balancer if we're gonna do something like with the chest. I wish you could filter chests. That would fix everything. It would make it that at the very least we can always get more fuel into a chest if they fill up. It's just that the last wagon drops off less fuel at the other station now. Yeah, but because we're prioritizing the recycle, that's where the confusion is. Oh, I figured it out. That's why it was not working. Okay, there's nothing wrong with my logic. There's not supposed to be an infinity chest there. We're not supposed to be producing fuel at the outpost. I forgot we didn't remove that part. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense now, which means we probably need a larger buffer chest here too. Classic. Okay, makes a lot more sense. Yeah, free infinite resources. So yeah, that should not be possible with my original setup. Just because it's not, that would mean this is burning 0 fuel. Thanks, Nightbot. Okay. So this is viable. How many inserters am I looking at? Let's see, 120. Okay, if we want to use chests, we're looking at 120 times 15. We're looking at 2,000 extra inserters. That's not terrible. It's not great, though. Guess it depends how late it'll be running. Okay, let's copy this. Let's do an actual test with chests. The main thing is I want chests on the input more than the output, but I guess that's fine. Having them in one area is still a little bit better. We'll just clone it, I guess. Okay. Space-wise, I'm not concerned with that, so that's nice at least. What is that silly test curve on the south? That is me messing up my spacing. Oh, I don't love this. This is so risky. It's probably fine. I don't like how the iron is no longer prioed. Like, I know mathematically it should work out, but burner inserters are so inconsistent that I literally don't trust them to do anything right. Okay. That's fine, though. We'll try to stay optimistic. This should work. I don't know if I need to change the second trains. I don't think I'm going to worry about it quite yet, but it is definitely something to keep in mind. I guess input prio doesn't matter there. Okay. Now, how to make this work? Yes, well, I don't explicitly have it in the condition, but it's pretty much guaranteed to happen. But it is not explicitly required. It just most likely happens because of fuel prio. Oh, wait. It might not happen anymore though. And we can't add a weight condition either. I didn't copy the lock cell into the fuel wagon. I did not. Or I did. Thank you. I guess that wouldn't break things. Perf. But yeah, I definitely didn't mean to do that. Good catch. Okay, how do we do this? Well, these aren't supposed to have any iron on them, so let's just get rid of them for now. Okay, there we go. They're empty. They're set to manual. Perfect. Okay, I accidentally copied the fuel wagon again. And now we can delete them. Now we can undo. They're still set to manual. Perfect. This is definitely more RNG. Because it's not going to prio them anymore. They're a little bit broken, but that's fine. I guess it's just because they're not getting fuel. Maybe it is fine. Yeah, this isn't something that will realistically break. That's just because we spawned with the belt already full. Spawned, that's not really the right word there. Okay, I think I might remove the prio. Okay, moment of truth. Activate. Activate and activate. Okay, let's see. How safe is this? Cut paste the whole setup. Oh, yeah, I could just restart it. That also works. It does empty fast, which is nice. Oh, my weight conditions no longer work. Whoops. 1600. It is now 15200. Ooh, that wasn't right. Whoops. Okay, let's try it again. Loop the recycling belt. Thank you. How did I cut that? What was I? Oh, I shifted it by 2 files. What do you think about the new mechanic? I have not read that Factorio facts because it was talking about planets. I don't read the ones that mostly talk about new planet stuff. I only read the ones that are about quality of life changes. Okay, let's run this for a fair amount of time, see if it's safe enough. I really wish we could get the chest on the input. Can this cause problems? This might cause problems. Yeah, the the lack of prio complicates things. Is there any secret way we can filter out fuel? It certainly will cause problems. Yep, probably. That's what we're gonna run it for a bit and see what happens. It's just building up like 6 fuel every train. You know, it's gonna take a while to cause problems. Okay, what if we swap the order? You can put it at the top of the cargo wagon. Well, then it changes the prio, so that might break things in a different way. But that's what we're gonna test. Splitterless blade balancer after 3 inserters would help. I'm not sure what that means. The inserters would always pick fuel if they're about to run out, no? Well, the issue is that they're not going to run out. But we need to prioritize them emptying the wagon, I guess. I think I understand the issue. What if I emptied them? Maybe that fixed it. Basically, the issue is the prio that we have set switches. It should be shorter. Yeah, we can decrease the wait time. That doesn't change this issue, though. So we can change that later. But the issue is that we want fuel to be unloaded in a specific order. However, it's got to reverse the order once it clears the wagon, right? Unless they always prioritize fuel regardless. But I think they only prioritize fuel if they need it. So yeah, this prioritizes taking out the iron ore, which means they could die. Whereas if we have it on in, they prioritize the solid fuel, but then the solid fuel can back up. Yikes. Consider adding pyanodons? Well, that's not an option. This is a vanilla run. You can set infinite... Oh, yeah. Thanks for that. It's set on all the other ones, so I completely forgot about it. You can just put iron ore to 0 as well. So the reason I don't have that, if you mean... Oh, you mean for the infinity filter? Yeah, that's also an option. I thought you meant for the recycle. I was going to say we can't have iron as 0 to recycle because there's no balancer. If we had a balancer, we can use that. Pyanodons install speedrun stat. Honestly, I think if Pyanodons somehow saves time, I need to rethink my life. Yeah, this doesn't... These are slowly depleting, right? Yeah, I don't... If I get lucky... No, I think this is going to brown out. Okay, so we have two issues that can happen. We either run out of fuel, or we either back up these chests with fuel, or we lose the inserters, right? Okay, somehow this started working. How did that not die? Interesting. Did I just get lucky? I don't know what I'm missing there. I don't know how it somehow got fuel, because they're not smart enough to think about the fuel chain. Was it just like a timing coincidence? It could be a timing coincidence. How much do I want to spend on a new PC? I have a 7800 X3D, but I don't want to use 300. I don't want to use 3000 separate circuit networks. Why not have multiple stations in parallel? Well, we probably need a parallel station regardless. So that's probably a good idea. This is working, but I feel like it shouldn't be, and I don't like that. I don't like how this can potentially break in a very weird way. Yeah, we're not super performance limited. I just don't really want to have 3000 individual circuits, because I'm assuming you want it to like only run if there's no fuel in the belt or something. At least it does. Well, okay. What happens if this backs up? That's what the real test would be. Let's back up the entire chest. Because that's what will break it. That's what will break it, if anything, right? If this belt backs up completely. Ooh, it will stay backed up forever. See, if this happens, it's GG. Right? Probably GG. Yeah. This might kill it. Let's see, did I miss a message? Infinity chest. Wait time should be shorter. Oh yeah, the splitterless balancer. I don't know what a splitterless balancer is. You'd imagine that'll happen anytime we're not consuming all the output. Yeah, which is most of the start time. We will eventually use all the output, but we're probably going to have like 30 minutes each time where we're not using all the output while bots are building things. Is a splitterless filter, do you just mean like this? Because if I do this into a splitter, that prioritizes them a little bit better. I have enough fuel to output the whole train and put fuel out last, which means it is the last slot. So as soon as fuel is put out, the second one picks it up and it has enough fuel again. As long as chests are available, it cannot brown out. Yeah, that's the problem though. As long as chests are available is a very important consideration. We're making the assumption that these fill evenly. I think we need like a balancer. It does at least eliminate the need for 2 stations. Although performance-wise, I think this is actually worse than just having 2 stations. Or at least comparable. But yeah, that's why it's breaking. Like, they can survive multiple train emptying. Like, a lot of train emptyings. So we need to balance the outputs if we want this to be safe forever. Because I think it's about to die. It does take a while to die, though, so that's nice. Okay, that's another... Thanks for mentioning that. It's slower than 12 inserters after about an hour. It's not slower than 12 inserters initially, so maybe it's fine. Let's unresearch this, because we won't have this for like an hour after the train's set up. Which does change things a lot, probably. That's why we have 12 inserters and only a yellow belt. Because we are accounting for that being an issue. And it's much better to waste 1 inserter early, I think, than it is to... Or 1 inserter later than it is to waste a lot of inserters. Than it is to waste throughput. There we go. Yeah, it's better to waste 1 inserter later than it is to waste a little bit of throughput early. We might be able to get away with 10, though, because there's only 10 over here. Most of the time. Yeah, with stack size 2. Oh gosh, this empty's so slow with that stack size 2. Yeah, no, it doesn't wait long enough. What I really want is a buffer chest here. Is there any fancy way I can filter things? I mean, you can filter stuff out with a boiler. That's not worth it. Can I do double input here? I guess, okay, if I'm getting to the point where I want double stations on the input and the output, then I would switch to just a regular chest setup. Maybe that's not awful. Okay, so what if we do double stations? Does this fix things? I mean, I don't think it breaks things, right? That's the main thing. Oh, right, this is the curly thing someone was talking about, where I just kind of randomly clicked for rotating this. Well, let's just ignore that. It can be pretty. Doesn't need to be, but it can be. Not enough rail. Really? Okay. Because we're actually going to have 3 trains. The logic here is all wrong, but that's fine. Okay, let's research stack size all the way for now. Ah, that was weird. No, it's not. Okay, this paused in a weird spot. Okay, well, with this setup, 2 unloading stations actually is not helpful. Ooh, I don't like that. What happened here? Oh, okay, so we do need to make sure the fuel is in this spot at the end if we want this to work. That's fixable, though. That's why I forgot. That's why I had it tested. I guess we are looking at a scenario where it empties things completely. Or we're at a phase where we're just avoiding things, so we should be comparing it with only voiding half of the resources, but we can't really. It's not a great way to test that. But yeah, 2 stations seems viable. It doesn't increase the cost that much, right? No, it doesn't increase the cost. Okay, what about two unloading stations? That's the next question. I might, I don't know. I'll go set up one with two inputs and outputs. Let's do one with like a standard chest setup like this. I am I so like burner brain that I just refer to that as standard with like a straight face. I think burners are breaking me. Okay, how do I do this? A splitter? Oof. If I'm doing two loading stations, is my best bet to unload onto both halves? I think my best bet in that situation is actually to do something like this. Right? And then we don't need the red belt here. So let's make a third design. Oh yeah. This isn't a fix for the chest setup. This was just me. This actually should have been pasted over here. I probably wouldn't do double lanes with the chest setup. Chance of breaking is really scary though with bots. Basically, my rule of thumb is if I can't guarantee, like nearly guarantee, at least that it will work, I don't use it. Especially not when it's pasted 15 times. I think if it were not a speedrun, I wouldn't care that much. But even like a 5% chance that it breaks or something is pretty bad. Which is why we have spent so much time in our main base trying to make it safe from brownouts. It seems weird to go against that now. And it's all because of chest order. We have a fancy way to prioritize it, and it flips it as soon as it unloads. Otherwise, it would be perfect. See, can we do logic? Not really. I was going to say we could have these inserters somehow only work if there's no iron in the chest they're unloading into, but that seems to defeat the purpose. Also, I don't think that's logic you can do without a lot of circuit networks. Considering every inserter would have to register a separate network and read from the train. Yeah, I don't know. Don't think that's an option. Okay, let's clone this. Settings, clone. Okay, now we'll look into a chest setup, which probably with an iron chest. I do like the idea of it being 50-50. Which isn't possible. So actually it is possible. It's not side balance, but it is possible. Because that's 28. That's not the halfway point. That's 26. This is the halfway point. Okay. Burner inserters, my beloved, you're so good. They're so good and useful. Okay, I guess we don't really have anything to copy here, do we? Well, we don't need this anymore. So now we're sending 6 into... We're still sending 6 into 8, right? Actually, if we're doing a double train setup with 5 inserters, we might be able to get away with a 6-long train. Okay, so we're looking at 25 burner inserters, or 25 burner drills, times 0.375. That is about 10 items per second. Never mind. I was hopeful. I am no longer hopeful. That doesn't work, right? Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, so we need to go into 8 chests. Did you know that if an internet service provider claims a server is up 99.9% of the time, that still means a downtime of 8 hours a year? That doesn't sound too bad. I could go with... I'd be okay with 9 hours a year, or 8 hours a year. 3 days uptime, though. That does sound a lot more brutal. Okay, so 6 doesn't work. Unless we went into... We could go into 2 6-wide trains. Actually, wait, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. If we're doing double trains, we can do shorter trains, and we can still use this setup. Okay, so now we have a third contender. Awesome. Then we don't need to do any fancy splitter prio. It does make the blueprint a little bit larger, but it should all still fit within a roboport. That's what matters. Or 2 roboports, because it's going to need 2 roboports either way, right? Actually, no, we can make it do with 1. We can probably make do with 1. You probably just take a nap for that. Yeah, we just got to hope that it happens whenever you're asleep, and then it's not a big deal. Okay, so now we have 1, 2. When do we decide that belting everything? Belting everything is not going to be ideal. That much I can guarantee. Because don't forget, this part of the run will be done with a controller. Connecting a single rail is a lot easier than connecting 8 belts to every outpost by hand with a controller. It's probably best in terms of... It probably is best for most cases. Controller, yeah. Well, I can't do a long stream. I can't do more than like 3 hours with just with a mouse and keyboard. So if I want to do this in one stream, which I really want to do, I have to switch to controller for most of it. Like, I can probably occasionally get up to do something with the mouse and keyboard, but most of the run after bots will be done with the controller. That's really the only reason that I think burner rails are going to be worth it. They probably wouldn't be over just connecting 80 belts if I were on a mouse and keyboard. But, like, I'm not overstating. I think that will take, like, 4 times longer on a controller at least. Because the controller support for this game is a little bit lackluster. For when you need to do that much at least. Okay, let's design... Okay, let's do a quick design with just 6 belts first. I think that's a good use of my time right now. Okay, so we're going to do a 6-long double train. I don't know if there's a standard for that, for naming that, but we're going to call it a 6-wide double train. Because why not? Can I fit this here? That was my way of connecting the logic. If anyone's wondering what that was all about, I was trying to connect the logic here without having to do a full redesign. So these don't need red belts anymore, so that's nice. We do need a little bit of red belt here, but that's not a problem. Okay, that looks all right. We did cut the solid fuel belt, but that's fine. Okay, this should be something we can copy now. That's good. They're not on logic. I'm just going to ignore the logic for now. Yeah. We'll just ignore the fueling logic. The fueling logic is the easy part. I'm not super concerned with that for this test. Because we can fake that, right? We know it's going to work decently. Now in this design, we're going back to fueling at the beginning. And then iron at the end. Okay, which one did we change? Okay. Yeah, because in this design, they're not going to chests or anything. And then we would have a branch here where we copy this whole thing somehow. Place it here, and we can't really mirror it, can we? Oh wait, you can mirror trains? It's never come up before. I've never tried. Oh, because I didn't have an outpost in it. Oh, right. That was totally an accident, but it does work. Does it stop here or here, actually? Hubble Inc. Okay, let's have it go to Hubble Inc. Okay, I think it needs to go there. I can never think of where it stops relative to the train stop. Or is it not lined up? Maybe it's not lined up. Wait, what? Don't know what the issue is there. Oh, it's not called Hubble Inc., is it? Because I moved it. It is now called MWJ Bay. Okay, and then we'll switch these. We no longer need that anymore, and we no longer need that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will just send this somewhere. Actually, you know what? We'll just delete it. We don't need it. Okay, I feel like I did not put the rail in the right spot. What? I don't know what I did wrong. I definitely deleted something I wasn't supposed to. Is the rail not connected or something? Oh, there's probably train signals that are very broken. Right, we did double the train. Kind of forgot we added another half to it. There we go. Yeah, forgot about this entire section. Ooh. Okay, I kind of went right through it, but that's fine. Okay, it does not stop in the right spot. So as expected, I do not know where trains stop. There we go. Okay, so it needs to be here. That makes sense. Okay, and then we can actually give these the same name, right? So fueling wise, let's see, this recycles here, and then honestly, we could have it loop all the way over there and combine with this belt. That's not inherently a problem. We could also just have fuel being loaded, like have half of it go here, half of it go here. This does help a lot with start time. Like very significantly with start time. They do. That's true. They do, but since the train was already there, I couldn't really tell which one was which. But yeah, just moving the train probably would have been easier. Okay, so this is also a viable option, and I don't dislike it. We're just going to attach these to a random spot, just so they stay working. Because honestly, I'm not that concerned right now with that aspect of it. Okay, read belt contents, hold. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, so we're going to wait at all of them for 130 seconds. And that should be good. And then they unload to aerospace, I guess. So we don't have a side A anymore. Okay, that should be fine. And then we're just going to make the assumption that... Let's see, how do we make this shorter? Actually, how do we make this shorter? I guess we just redesign it, right? That should be fine. Because I want to get rid of the chests, but in the laziest way possible. There we go. Side load. Okay, that's perfect, except for the fact that these are now 2 tiles too high. So this actually needs to be here. We'll just add a splitter. Fuel input is not a huge concern of mine right now. Do those have logic on them? Oh, right. When I didn't know what was breaking my chests, we added logic. Okay. I think that's right. Okay. So this should make it that the average unloading time is a little bit better. And then with this one, we could probably set it to having inactivity again. Actually, wait, inactivity was bad. Belt at fuel wagon is broken. Is it rotated? Is that the one you were talking about? Good catch. Okay, cool. Thank you. And then we'll probably want one more train. Okay. One side of my trains is too long. Side load into the iron input. Okay, so I clearly did not copy it very well. Sorry, not one side of my train. One of my trains is too long. Which one is too long? Oh, I think this is just stopping in the wrong spot. No, it is. Wait, what? Oh, I see. Okay, so this one's stopping in the wrong spot. Right? No. No, is that right? No, that's set up right. Hello, Bep. Okay, I think I figured it out. And now a chain signal here would be good. It doesn't really matter where the signaling is right now. It just needs to not be completely borked. We're good. Okay. Now they're set up to automatic, so I think we'll be fine. We actually don't want a signal here. Can we enter a train? Kind of. Not exactly, though. Okay, so it's not seeing this as empty. I think... Okay. I don't want it to stop there. There we go. That should fix it. Right. I expected this would happen. This was me saying, oh, we don't need logic. Yeah, for some reason I thought I did chain signals. Oh, I did them on the output. I did it on the parts that didn't matter. There we go. Yeah, thank you. Okay, and then this one, we obviously don't want to be able to hold this many trains here, so... I think if we just remove... If we remove these, I think we're fine. Okay, yeah, that should be fine. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. There's going to be much more distance between the outposts, so I'm not too concerned with this. Also, it's got to be a straight line, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, I like how the belts look a lot less full in this design. That is actually pretty nice, because it means there's going to be much less like time for the belts to fully back up. Actually, wait, with it split this way, I don't see any belts backing up. Yeah, and no red belt needed. Also very nice. And we can theoretically compress this into 4 belts still, which is fine. Now, if we can get a balancer, if we can figure out how we can balance the inserters, we could go back to the chest on the output too. I don't know how to balance. I don't know how to balance them. I mean, I know ways to balance them. I don't know how worth it would be. See, how's the chest setup? I mean, it's still working. I want to see what happens if I just void this completely. How fast it breaks. Because maybe it's fine. But yeah, the lack of red belt is nice. Although I feel like we spend more resources on doing this, the extra like rails, than we save. But if we're doing double anyway, I guess it's fine. But yeah, I feel like the red belt isn't that expensive compared to having to do another 300 here. Do we have a coal-powered nuclear plant? Well, there's no mod. So, no. This is purely vanilla. We do have an insanely large coal power plant, yes. I can show that. Okay, I like this. And we could probably make do with 4 or 5 trains. So I think the double stations decreases our train requirement significantly. Mod check. Yeah, I guess those kind of mods too. You haven't used burners for it, but you know you can balance outsiders with some stack size manipulation. Like, is there logic you can do to override stack size? Is that what you mean by that? Oh, huh. I didn't really. Okay, yeah, that is an option. Another option is to disable them if values are greater than the average. That uses a combinator, but it's not awful. Let's see, which one did I cut? This one? Oh. I mean, at least, okay, at least it takes a while for things to break in this scenario. So that is nice. It does take a good long while for things to break with chests. Like, at least probably like 20 train trips, which I guess is actually not that long in terms of a speedrun where every train moves for every 2 minutes. Oh, it's not even logic. You manually set them. Well, okay, if burner inserters are so bad, though, balancing it with stack size just kind of makes it that we can't fill the belt very easily. Let's see. It uses a single combinator for the entire station, but it does include a whole extra circuit network per chest. Wait, per chest? Okay. That might be too rough then. Like, I'm not that hurting for performance, but 3,000 chests on a circuit network seems like a lot. Especially since chests are already bad for UPS. Okay, I don't think... Oh, that's what you meant by sideload and iron belt. I saw that earlier, completely forgot about it, because it wasn't causing any problems. There we go. Okay, 6 long trains seem to be the strat, and they can actually run full speed. So at least we learned something from today. Well, so like, you're noticing the bottom inserters get a little sucked, the top inserters... Oh, just make one of them run a little better, or a little worse. Yeah, we could just make it that the maximum throughput of all of it is 15. I would much rather have them all balance empty evenly, though. Honestly, though, I don't know if we need the chests anymore. Initially, I wanted it because there wasn't enough of a buffer here for the inserter, for the drills to stop running, or keep running, but now that it's split, I think it's fine. Yeah, if there's no chest, there's no need to balance. I was trying to decide if we could make the chest setup work, but I don't think it does much now that we have two stations. If the belt's coming out full, then it's balanced. I like this. Yeah, honestly, this works really well. I really wasn't expecting it to, if I'm being honest. But this just keeps up with the inserters a lot better. Of course, this one did get a little bit stuck. That's true. One station of chest output. Yeah, we could just do output on this at the station. Actually, wait, is that an option? I think that works if we go back to the 8 long train. What's the output speed if we don't have that? 1.8, right? It can still backfire, but it's definitely a lot less likely to. As long as we're consuming it. How can I prioritize them? These are the only 2 ways I know to prioritize things, and if they break, they break. Wait, these aren't set up right. It's not a huge deal, but it does matter a little bit. Okay, now it's fixed. Ooh, I am in the train. Oh wait, I didn't set it to manual. That's why I couldn't drive it. Okay, but honestly, this doesn't seem bad. Decreasing the train size by 2 is actually really nice. Because we're going to have 5 trains regardless, I think. But now we have 5 shorter ones instead of 5 8-long ones. We can examine it another day. Someone asked about my power, so let's go look at that. It depends how you're consuming. Oh, you're right. There's a lot of times where we probably will be getting an entire train and only consuming 1 train. Because realistically, one of them, every time we have to switch from like, let's say like right here, right? We transition from needing a lot of iron to needing a lot of copper. Some of that copper is probably going to come from the train that's down here, which means it's just going to be sitting there backing up forever. In a very unbalanced way. For quite a while until all of these are placed. So that could cause problems. But yeah, this is the power plant, roughly. So we are using steam power, and we are using nuclear turbines. It's just, we're just using them for density. So it decreases the power plant size by, I think, like 25% or something. It's actually pretty significant. Maybe not 25%. Let's see. 29 versus, whoops. 19. Oh, okay. It is like 30%. Never mind. Oh, we have instant deconstruct off. Which was needed for the mod. But yeah, this is the power plant. We locally do some cracking above. This is to give us like a perfect ratio of petroleum to light oil. Or mostly perfect ratio. It's not exact, so the power plant is 2 chemical plants longer than it would need to be. Or we could add some speed modules or something. But either way, it's 2 chemical plants longer than it needs to be. Not that significant. That's like a 5% increase in size, I think. 5 to 10% increase in size. But it makes it that it can, if we get an imbalance of inputs, we can, eventually burn it. Or pretty quickly. Because I don't think getting an exact ratio is that viable with the way we have the fuel set up. Water is going to come from the bottom. Also using infinite coal for this too. Yeah, basically. I think my estimate was we're going to be using like 30 belts of solid fuel total for the end, towards the end. So this one we will be able to take the power plant from normal 100% for like how they set up the water. Because our water requirement is actually very comparable to a normal 100% run. Surprisingly. And that's because steam power is just that bad. So this produces about 2 gigawatts, right? Normal 100% run uses like 11 or 12. And the same amount of water, or only a little bit more water. And that's just because their power is like 4 or 5 times better per water used when it comes to nuclear power. I don't think that's something anybody ever cares about when it comes to power. It just happens to matter for us. I'm pretty sure that's the ratio. Because we need like 100 pipes of water. At least. It's great. You don't need that. Yeah. I don't need that much power, I say. It's like I'm using 2 gigawatts of power for a burner design. That still sounds like a lot to me for what I'm doing. It was a lot more than I was expecting. But yeah, a lot of it is being burned off. Probably about 70%. No. Maybe not 70. Because assembly machines do take a lot. But a lot of it is being burned off. I think the drills alone, we're looking at like 20,000 drills or something, right? It's a define burned off. Oh, burned off as in it's not being consumed directly for electricity, like just to power the burner inserters and burner drills. I think is what they meant. So we're using a lot of fuel. It just, in our case, it's not going into direct power consumption production or electricity production. It's just going to power the inserters and drills directly. Let's see. Each outpost, I think, is 500. It's like 500 of these, right? Or 500 drills. So we're looking at probably 500 times 25. So yeah, we're looking at about 12,000 burner inserters at least, or burner drills at least. So that is almost 2 gigawatts for burner drills. And probably just as much going into burner inserters and furnaces. So yeah, we're looking at probably 3 to 4 gigawatts going directly into drills and burner inserters, which is a lot. That's so much. Yeah, that tracks though. I think I'm expecting to have about 2,000 chemical plants in my entire base. Not all of them will run all the time though. A lot of them will idle. But it is in line with what I mentioned earlier when someone asked about the locally produced fuel. You have to overproduce fuel by a lot if you want the start time to not be in the multiple hours phase. So we have twice as many chem plants as we realistically need. Otherwise, the start time is in like the hour to 2 hours per outpost. I mean, as it is, our start time for outposts is already like 30 to 40 minutes. I'm trying to figure out ways to get that down. I think we have it here. Okay, so we got it down to 22 minutes. If we bring apparently an entire 8-long train worth of solid fuel. So 22 minutes is not that bad, actually. But it would be like an hour if we were producing the bare minimum solid fuel. Unprio the splitter will lower the start time. Oh, sorry, I'm not talking about those outposts. Those outposts start fast enough, it doesn't matter. Those outposts start in like 10 minutes. Those aren't a big deal. We could definitely get partially started outposts from those, but that's not the... Yeah, I should have specified. I'm talking about the final outposts, the ones that really matter. But yeah, that's on me. That's on me. I can't think of a good word to distinguish between the two. I guess I could call them, maybe I should just specify circuit outposts. But yeah, it's these ones that have the large start time. And that's because there's 600 drills here and about 2,000 inserters that they have to fill up. And realistically, we can only have 1 to 2 belts of solid fuel. Max, locally produced. Which is not a lot. Yeah, we're getting about almost 2 locally produced belts of solid fuel, which is not a ton to start this many, but there's not really enough oil for us to get more. Or enough belted resources. One upside of burner compared to Hundro is you have much more time to set things up. Yeah, I definitely don't have to care that much about small time saves, like mechanically. Or making sure my bots work perfectly, because we're so much more limited by the fact that everything just takes like 50 minutes to start than we are by like bots building things. So I don't think our entity count is higher, but I don't think that's a problem because everything is so much slower anyway. I think it will balance out. But yeah, these GC outposts. And these ones, we have to literally back up the whole... Now, when I say start time, actually, I'm referring to starting up the entire thing. It does start working a little bit earlier. Like, I'd say about half of it probably starts working pretty quickly. So this 22-minute startup time is for when every assembling machine is done. So when it's fully running. It probably starts working in about 5 to 10 minutes. It's just got to be only a couple assembling machines. Do you have a bot stage of the fuel lines just so they get start earlier? I do. These will be staged, but the thing is the fuel lines are 90% of the entity... Well, maybe not that high. But the fuel lines are at least half the entity costs. So it's not as beneficial as it sounds. So we'll stage the fuel lines early when we can. But there's not a huge difference between placing the entire design and placing just the fuel lines. So it's one of those... It's definitely like a kinda. The main thing is we just need to get this started and maybe a little bit of belts. But yeah, when the difference is like 80% of your entity count probably is fuel line. Staging it is not immensely helpful. We'll do what we can, but I don't think it's going to make a massive difference. It could make a difference. Now, one thing I did consider, if we have a buffer chest, this decreases how much we have to stage. So then we only need to do this in stage 1, which is much more manageable, right? This is only 500 entities or so. So if we buffer some fuel and then output it back onto the belt, that could help a little bit. And if we assume it's an entire belt and it's building for about, let's say 5 minutes, because we're aiming for one outpost every 10 minutes. So let's say stage 1 is 5 minutes, or I don't know, before everything gets fully built. We can probably buffer about 2,000 fuel in that time, or 4,000 fuel in that time, which is about 2 train wagons. So that will help a little bit. I think our biggest help will be having literally 8 wagons worth of fuel dumped off along with our building wagon. I think that is essential. That saves about 30% startup time. Well, it brings it down from like 30 to about 22. So 25%. Because this, I think, was 1 train wagon to prime. This was 8. If we have none, it's in like the 40 minutes. 35 to 40 minutes. But a little bit of start time is great. If I can create 8 wagons of fuel, well, that's not that hard to do, though. Because the main thing is the big thing is our main base will have tons of spare fuel, right? So the whole like overproduction thing is also a case for our main base. So we'll probably have at least 4 belts of spare fuel in our base that we can put onto a wagon by this point in the run. Because we're not consuming a ton at our main base anymore. It's pretty much all consumed. It's pretty much all just overproduced now. So we shouldn't have any trouble rerouting that to a fueling train and then maybe adding a couple extra. It's still worth it, because if we can add 100 to 200 chem plants in our main base, that's a lot easier than adding 100 chem plants to every single outpost, which is the alternative. So it is a lot. It definitely is a lot. That is a lot of fuel I'll have to move. But I don't think it's going to be a huge investment over what we already have. Because I did test this without any locally produced fuel, and it needed to be it needed to be twice the size. So it was an extra 80 chemical plants and 80 refineries. Well, 60 refineries. So it was another 80 chem plants and 60 refineries times 15 to 20. So what is that? 60 times 15? So at least about 1,000 of each total. So as long as we use 1,000 extra in our base, or less than 1,000 extra, we'll be good. Also, our main base can use light oil, which is a huge advantage. We don't have any light oil over here. This is all solid fuel, which makes it, half as good. We could theoretically pump light oil over, but I think density-wise, we decided that doesn't matter. But yeah, it's looking up. I think we have some decent train designs. I'm still slightly considering entirely no self-feeding on the train. But I think that requires too many additional trains to work. Because right now we're looking at 4 or 5 total trains, and that's actually really not bad. 8 total trains, though, that gets a bit pricey. I haven't actually run the numbers in a while. I'll probably do that next time on Saturday, because we are producing a certain amount of trains. So I might have more trains than I think I do, but I also might not. So that will probably be the deciding factor, because I can't produce that many more trains. My inserters are already at their limit. But we'll have to do math for that. But thanks for all the tips. Thanks for helping me figure out the train design, because I'm not great with trains at the best of times. And burner inserters have such weird additional conditions, especially with the hull. It needs to be bot safe. That's very, very weird. A very weird addition that you almost never have to care about. but it's a very key design aspect of the run that changes a lot of optimal designs. But hope you all have a wonderful evening. I'll be back Saturday with more burner designing. Wait, I might be back Friday because I don't have Friday. I don't have anything on Friday anymore. So I think I can get back to my normal Friday stream. So should be back Friday actually with burner designing. Hopefully we can get the base finalized this weekend, at least in terms of new designs, and then start making sure everything works on scale. But yeah, have a good one. Peace.